the news and to talk about something very important. Now, about 3 days from now will be Mazingira Day, and we want to turn our attention to the state of Kenya's environment. This is our forests, our rivers, the very thing that sustains us all and will sustain our futures, and of course the national call to conserve and protect this very thing. With me is the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Dr. Deborah Mulango. Karibu sana. And this is her first Mazingira Day since taking over the docket. And allow us to welcome her in a good way. Karibu sana, madam.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. Now, the people at home, if you want to participate in this conversation, send in your feedback through the channels that you know. 22047 is the SMS line. On those of you who are watching on YouTube, send in your questions on the group chat, on the live chat, and I'll be happy to sample that. And on TikTok as well, send in your comments and any observations, and we'll be happy to address them. Karibu, madam. I want us to start with this. I mean, this is your first Mazingira Day as a CS. Can you talk to us about what the environment means to you personally?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Victor.
Karibu.
And I was really excited when I was given the task by His Excellency the President. And when we looked at Mazingira Day, we asked ourselves what would be good, what would be ambitious, what would be impactful to the people of Kenya. And we really talk about shared responsibility. We need to reaffirm ourselves as Kenyans, as the community, and work together towards having a safe, clean, healthy environment, towards protecting our people, as well as having a good future for the children or the new citizens of Kenya. And so when we thought about that, we thought the critical thing is to talk about tree growing, because the 15 billion tree campaign is indeed the President's agenda, and as well as look at the cleanup campaigns. But how can we do this? We talked about responsibility. You know, when you have the children, you nurture them from once they are young so that they can grow up protecting the environment. And so we thought that going back to school is really critical, because stewardship starts early, and leadership again can be nurtured through caring for trees, cleaning the environment. Then we grow leaders who can be able to protect the environment.
All right, that's really interesting, and I want us to delve into that in a moment, especially that strategy of going to the schools. But allow me to ask you this, and you come from a medical background, and before you were in charge of matters health, and now you're in charge of matters environment. These are two ministries that are connected to people and the planet, and the well-being of people and planet. Would you care to tell us a little bit about how your experience in the medical field, influences your approach to leadership of say, the Environment Ministry?
Yes, absolutely. I would just say it's similar, because currently in health, we're talking about a one health approach, where we have the human health, the environmental health, as well as the zoonotic or the animal health, because we learned a lot during COVID times. So environmental health is not new to me. And when you look at the linkage, when it comes to leadership and governance, it's still the same, because we are talking about having policies and strategies, regulatory frameworks, running programs like the 15 billion tree strategy, ensuring that we have guidelines and standard operating procedures, and then monitoring and evaluating. And this time, compliance is critical for us in the Ministry of Environment. And trickling down to the other components where we are working with the community, so from national government down to county level, and ensuring human resource capacity is there. So really, I can say leadership and governance is really the same across the board. The template or the framework really is the same. It's just contextualizing or changing it to the kind of ministry you are in.
I see, I see. Thank you. Now, this year's drive focuses on planting fruit trees in our former primary schools, and that's really interesting. I want to come to that in a second, but what you said about the 15 billion trees goal, which was set in 2022, correct me if I'm wrong, we are at about 1 billion right now.
Yes.
Talk to me about this momentum, and how are we actually going to get the road to the 15 billion from the 1 billion where we're at?
Yes, so we are really excited that we've hit the 1 billion mark. when you look at the previous government, you know, in 5 years, they were able to plant just 38 million trees. But currently, in just a few years, just almost 2 years, and we're able to plant 1 billion. Yet again, we had our target. Our target was 3 billion trees to be planted. So we are still not there, but we are better off from where we started from. Now, what we have done, we've ensured that we have seeds, production of seeds, and KEFRI has done quite a good job. We have over 1.5 billion seeds being produced by KEFRI. Mm-hmm. Now, moving to the seedling production is where now we looked at re-strategizing to ensure that seedlings are all over across the country so that anyone can be able to plant the trees. So we've re-strategized and we are leveraging on the platforms we have like NYS to ensure that we incorporate that in their curriculum and that everyone is producing seedlings. And then ultimately now have a drive, a community drive, community ownership to ensure that trees are being planted. And we have good practices from even our neighbors in Ethiopia, among others. So we are looking into how we can work towards ensuring that we are planting the trees. So yes, there's re-strategizing going on, and we believe we'll be able to achieve this. 30% of the trees should be fruit trees. I am passionate about fruit trees because I believe no child should sleep hungry. And so I said, why not, you know, guys, let us work towards fruit trees and let's have orchards in schools so that every child should can have a fruit. Yeah, because we are dealing with food insecurity, we are dealing with malnutrition, also ensuring that there's community ownership, that everyone should plant a tree. And that is why we're telling Kenyans, we need to be responsible, yeah, because every seedling that you plant will be able to support a child somewhere so that they can be able to get a fruit one time, even as they go to school. And that is the rallying call, that let us contribute the seedlings, let us contribute our money. Fruit tree seedling would cost around 100 to 150 Kenya shillings. And then let us go back to our primary schools to plant. But also, let us look at the cleaning up of the environment, like in the school. As we were just discussing, you remember, Victor, we said that we are, again, mentors of the young ones. They're looking up to us. And when we are cleaning the environment, when we are planting the fruit trees, when they are seeing this grow, and they are seeing the fruits that come out of it, then they will be responsible for the environment and run with the cause, because it's about improving our economy, it's about food security, it's about ensuring that we are raising children who are responsible and who are caring for the environment.
Right. Now, planting trees is one thing.
Yeah.
Keeping them or growing them is a whole other conversation, and I want us to address that in a moment. But let's pay some bills. If you're watching us from TikTok or YouTube, send in your feedback. We're happy to incorporate that. You heard from the minister herself. It's our responsibility. Let's digest on that. 30% of all the trees should be fruit trees. And the drive is being kick-started all across Kenya's schools. She's going to be telling us a little bit more about that. But now let's send some messages and we'll be right back.